We have to, and the problem is this, is that you guys are fixing it right now, whether you realize it or not. This is part of the solution. Because other than that, what do we have? We have Jum'ah and we have salawat fil masajid, right? But how do we come for salat? Exactly like you just saw. Everybody wanders in. Very few people speak to anybody other than the people that they already are acquainted with. They come, they do their thing, and then they turn around and they walk right out. A lot of the times, walking past the people, Muslims, they don't know and don't give salams or nothing. You treat them like a stranger. Why? Because that's exactly what they are to us as strangers. Because that's the title, the classification that we've given them in our lives. Strangers in the masjid. So the solution is this: you showing up to these types of programs and then us actually coming together. Physically, mentally, spiritually. Inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy. May Allah bless you guys for not giving me a hard time and like conforming and complying. Usually there's like somebody is like wants to be obstinate sitting in the back, but all you guys move forward. Jazakumullah khairan jazak. May Allah ta'ala move you forward in this life as well as on Yawm al-Qiyamah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala advance you in the darajat of Jannah as well because of your willingness to comply in this life. MashaAllah. Barakallahu feekum. Are we ready? Okay. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. As you know, my name is Khalid Harrington, and the point and purpose, the objective of this panel is, number one, is to actually, like what we were just talking about, start to get to know the individuals within your community, the people that are working within your community, but then also have some insight into the lives of Muslims that are different from our own. So that way we can actually begin to relate and begin to understand each other in our different backgrounds. The other thing is that all three of these individuals, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them and increase all of us. I can speak personally that I have personally had the honor and privilege of working with each one of these individuals for a lengthy period of time. For Ryan, mashallah, may Allah ta'ala bless him, like since he came into Islam. So I've had an opportunity to get to know who these men are as Muslims, and they're special. So I want to share that specialness with you, and I want you to be able to receive it, but then also you have something. Each one of you is equally deserving to sit up here. You must know that about all these panels. I could pluck any three of you from here and put you right here, and what we're doing right now would be just as valid. Okay? So this is not about youth and converts, it's about us, all of us, and our various backgrounds, and putting those out there so that we can share them with each other so that we can begin to understand one another, right? There's a thing that exists in psychology, and it's known as reciprocity. And what happens is that generally, if you begin to share, so a lot of the, like the NAAA stuff, Alcoholics Anonymous, and Narcotics Anonymous, and stuff like that, right? Gamblers Anonymous, they function from this psychological principle. And it is this: if I begin to share my personal story with you, psychologically, mentally, you are going to become more inclined to actually open up and share personal things about yourself. Okay? So by you opening up, it actually, it's in the psychological, right? There's actually a trigger that's in your head that when somebody opens up and shares, that you want to share too. That's how relationships are built. That's how trust is built. This is what we want to do, inshallah, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So now, without any further ado, I'm going to pass the mic. Oh, by the way, they wanted scripted questions and everything. I said, oh no. They had them already and everything. It's like, these are the questions, then we're going to let everybody else say, no. You don't get any scripted questions. They have no idea what's getting ready to happen. Zero. That's the reason why they look like they do right now. It's not because of you, it's because of me, by the way. Okay. Just briefly, does that microphone work? Do I need to pass it off? Okay. Briefly, if you don't mind, inshallah, each of you, can you just take a quick minute? Uh, Give your name. I don't want to do the whole like how you became Muslim. No. Tell us about how you started practicing Islam, just briefly. Like the experience of beginning this process of actually practicing Islam. One thing is you accept the theory of Islam. Another thing, you take your Shahada. But like, what about actually doing it? The learning process and the application process. Just briefly.
So I'm Ryan Oakes. I took my Shahada here about a year and a half ago in January of 2021 or 2022. Um, so I had already been exploring Islam for a while before that and had known how to do some of the normal practices. But then I took my Shahada, met Sheikh Khalid, and found out that I knew absolutely nothing pretty much, even though I thought I knew something. So I started learning and started applying these things that I was learning with the support of Sheikh Khalid, with the support of some community members here, and the support of my fellow brothers that I've known, including Awais and Manila and others. Um, and just having like the brotherhood and a sense of Ummah within our own small circle, working to help create more of a sense of Ummah in the bigger circle, was really how I came to really get serious about learning what I need to know for this deen and putting it into practice as best I can and working to learn and grow and perfect that practice each and every day.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum my name is Awais Mullah. I've known I've pretty much grown up in this community. Been barely out of Chicagoland, maybe like 2-3 years throughout my life. I guess you could say, I feel like I became Muslim or started practicing Islam when I was about 22, first actually taking it seriously. Um, the word coincidence just did not match up with the reality that I was experiencing. And from there, realized that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has crafted a story for everyone. And if there's someone who crafts that story, then there has to be an Allah. I think I've had something similar. I started learning about Islam from that time up until now. But in terms of application and really understanding methodology and how to actually put it into practice in a systematic way, rather than just kind of, I was like a YouTube alim student for quite a while. But alhamdulillah, I say about the past 3-4 years, I've really, actually, I'd say the past 7 years or so, the importance of not only just reciting Quran, but the meaning of it, and taking that meaning and actually applying it to the daily things that we do, making salah, even reciting Quran. Just up until very recently, I've actually started going through the entire Quran since I actually came to Islam. So
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Manala Clark. My beginning phases of Islam, when I first took my Shahada, I was actually introduced directly to Dar Qasim. So learning for me started right away. The difference with learning before Islam, you be a part of something, you learn, and maybe you do nothing. Whereas me becoming a Muslim, I learned that everything I learned, I didn't know, just like our brother here just stated. But there were qualified scholars, teachers, and outlets to actually go through this process of learning how to live life as a human being, as a Muslim. And once I had that exposure, I started learning how to make salah and all the standard things we know. And, it was expressed to me, it's going to be a call for action. So learning this means now you have to actually do something about it. And once I actually started putting what I was learning into practice, I saw the importance for this work. I saw the importance for everyone that, inshallah, take their shahada. And it has benefited me and my family over the last 9 years in a very major way. And I've had support of brothers within IOM, with here at this masjid, masjids around the Chicagoland area, all the way up to Milwaukee, even on the East Coast now. And they have given us a real sense of what an ummah is. It's the brotherhood. It's all of us. It's everything we're doing right now. And we need that support. And to have that support, to have brothers who knew how to bring all of that together, that for me helped me as a Muslim to really appreciate what it is to be a Muslim by putting these things into practice.
Sure. I'm going to share something about each one of these individuals because family is important. And part of what we do is, it's not about just the individual. We're not trying to get brothers. This is about families. So for instance, with Ryan's mother came out for Eid. So we had a Eid celebration, mashallah. And Victor, we have another brother. All three of our Puerto Rican brothers, right? 3 or 4 Puerto Rican brothers, and like all of them were small. But he wanted to be here. But Victor brought his brother, his mother, his sister-in-law, his daughter, his sister. So they all came out. Ryan brought his mother out. So we had an opportunity to actually like meet his mom and actually sit down and talk with her, and let her see like we're not like what they see in the media. You see what I'm saying? With this young man right here, Awais, mashallah, there's the generation above and the generation below right behind you, right? His father and son are here, right? And we've had multiple like occasions where in their home, right, where the brothers like during Ramadan and everything, where we are actually like, mashallah, in family's home. All the brothers are there, right? So again, like it's not just Owais's wife is a convert, right? She's a white convert, okay? So mashallah. So now she also feels welcome. She feels at home. And also may Allah Ta'ala bless Owais's family. The type of experience that she's had from a Muslim family has been phenomenal up until this point, alhamdulillah, right? Aman Allah. Aman Allah, I have a very special thing with Aman Allah. It is a very rare and is a very special thing. A connection that Allah Ta'ala made between he and I that is precious. For me, it is like it's like a gem that you put in your crown, right? So I think that this thing will be a gem. If Allah Ta'ala gives any crowns, like this should be a gem and a crown somewhere on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And that is this. I had the blessing of giving his mother her shahada. We were there together. This brother came and it was like my mother and I drove up there. And we sat with his mother, had a wonderful afternoon into the evening, and his mother took her shahada. And not long after that, she passed, rahimahullah. So this thing, because we know how mom is mom. And for converts, your mother becoming Muslim, brother, I can't even explain to you what that, because he knows I do not. My mother is not Muslim. I can't even imagine what that would feel like for my mother to be Muslim. It blows my mind. So I got to share this experience of a mom being Muslim with this brother. That's our connection. That's our attachment. It's through his mother. Beautiful individual. You can see how, like, mashallah, we got this guy here, right? My point is this, is that it's not about this casual thing. We're used to like this kind of like formal, superficial type of engagements, events, interactions with each other. They've got to become more substantial. We need to be more involved and invested in each other's lives. Now, question. In this process, I know there's many challenges, but without all three of you, nobody repeat. What was the biggest challenge for you in the change of lifestyle? You have one lifestyle. Now you're trying to adopt the lifestyle, the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What was the biggest challenge? We'll start with the monologue and come back this way for this one.
The biggest challenge is fighting against what you used to do versus what you should be doing, what you need to be doing right now. And that's your whole past life. It's like an addict, somebody who's addicted to something. Just because you stop one day doesn't mean that you will never be tempted by those things again, and they'll continue to spring up. And the challenges with, not to go into my personal life, was, like I said, everything that I dealt with before Islam, and then Islam giving me a real way of how to deal with these challenges, these addictions, these problems on the day to day. It made it a little bit more easy to overcome. And I don't know if I should say what one of those problems are. I'm a little embarrassed to say. But yeah, just pretty much everything that I had to deal with before I was a Muslim, it is present right now. It gets easier, it gets better as you put things into practice, but there's levels. And it's gonna come back again, so you have to have a strong network of brothers. You have to have support. Your environment has to support what you're doing. You all know that. And you have to have a really good personal connection with Allah, whatever level that is. And that will help you to overcome some of those challenges. At least it did for me, and I'm still facing them now.
Jameer.
I think the most difficult thing for me was to come out of a false sense of security as a Muslim, because when you're born into being a Muslim, the thing you get fed most of the time is that you're on the path that's the truth. So you don't need to worry about anything else that's happening around you. You just make sure that if you go to the masjid, you do go there maybe once a week or whatnot. But just that really fighting that cognitive dissonance that really grew as I went through my college years, and just up until very recently, because it was very hard to shatter that reality, because it's like a security blanket you wrap around yourself, but then when you take it off, you realize that you are standing on a very thin line, an extremely thin line, and you have to actually put into application those things that you've heard and learned, and you realize that all the things that you've heard and learned, that they're not, it's either going to be proof for you or evidence against you. And just really, if it wasn't for having the brothers and being able to actually engage with my deen, with having a mentor and actually learning the importance of those things, it's like you're wandering blindfolded in a hurricane.
So, I mean, I guess the typical thing for converts, including myself, was the family angle. Now, not so much that they were like shunning me, disowning me, throwing me out of the house, not having anything to do with me type of thing, but it was just the little things like, oh, why can't you do this? And there's always like and there still is, there's this tension of me trying to live the deen in conflict with things that I had always done with them in the past with my family, and having huge birthday celebrations, parties, and things of that nature, and things where there's alcohol involved, and things like where my dad just asked me to like grab a beer from the fridge. I'm like, I can't do that. I can't be the one to enable something that is that in this deen we say is sinful, and which I wholeheartedly believe myself. And so I think it's been that. It's been my grandmother still trying to wrap her head around why I left the Catholic Church to come become a Muslim. She says she still loves me. We still have respect for each other, but there's been some tension there as well, in trying to gently explain the deen to her and my thoughts, and comparing it what I have found as corruption within the deen of Christianity, why I find Islam as the truth, as we all know that it is. So just a lot of those little things, dealing, uh, you know, uh, with all those things with my family and even some of my friends, just trying to get them to understand where I'm at now, where I'm trying to go. Because, for them, it was kind of like a huge 180. It was for me too. But that's the choice that I decided to make. By Allah's fadl, alhamdulillah. And I wouldn't change it for the world, but for some of them, it's a little confusing. And so just kind of trying to deal with some of the tension, some of the awkwardness that has created amongst some of my non-Muslim friends, as well as family.
These relationships, because if you'll notice, even with young people, so a lot of times, like I get questioned, like, why are you lumping converts with the youth? I said, because there's very little difference between the two demographics. In terms of like their experiences and their worries and their concerns, there's just very little difference. I'll give you an example. We have one sister, and this sister is going through, she's from a Muslim family. And she is going through massive amounts of drama right now because she started covering. That's it. She started covering and making salah 5 times a day. So now, like, she's got family members that don't want to speak to her. She's dealing with, like, again, it's traumatic. You're from a Muslim family. Think about that. This is what I explained to converts. Like, you have to really, like, you want them to appreciate you. You need to appreciate what they go through too. So now, like, imagine being from a Muslim family and your Muslim family is upset with you because you're being Muslim. Imagine wrapping your head around that, right? So, and then you see, like, what Ryan is explaining, and a monologue goes through his challenges with family and everything also. And I just left an appointment with a brother who, inshallah, he's making his appointment to schedule his shahada. Alhamdulillah. But we went through I met him here. We started here at Mashahuda. And today was our 5th session. It was our 5th session. So we've got like somewhere 8 to 10 hours invested in this. Now he's ready to take his shahada. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. But the beauty of it is that there is a sister, and they're going to get married, everything. They did everything, like, they were very particular. May Allah bless them. They're older, though, more mature. But the drama of dealing with both of their families. Okay? Why? You're getting married. And thus that means, as he leaves Christianity, becomes a Muslim, marries a Muslimah of color, right? And now his family is trying to process this. And he's older, so that means his elders are older. Elders means, like, now you're talking about in your 80s, 90s. Those are his elders. So we sat down and went through a process, the 3 of us, of like, okay, like, how do we use Islam, okay, to kind of put everybody at ease and then navigate this situation. The same thing with these guys. We do exactly the same thing. Amanullah mentioned Dar Qasim. That's where I learned how to do it, right? That's where it's done for me. Do you see what I mean? So now, like, this understanding of that, if you're going to change, it's going to be hard. You can't expect that, like, you're going to change and that everything around you is just going to be like, give you a pat on the head and an attaboy and a thumbs up and all that kind of good stuff. You changing is going to shock the people around you, and that's okay. And you need to be okay with that. The reason being is that a beautiful thing might happen. And that is, you might shock them into change. You might shock them into change. It happens all the time. MashaAllah. But I gave myself, I only get 2 questions, by the way. So I used up 1. I'm going to save my last one for the end. So open for you. Questions? Yes. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. And I'll repeat the question also, so you don't have to. That is an amazing question, mashallah. Let me repeat it real quick. So as you are going through these changes in lifestyle, and you have these people in your life, how do you represent yourself, right, to these people in your life as this new version of you? Is it something that happens all at once? Like I'm just going to you know, if you're like for sister, like one day you're wearing leggings and next thing you know, you're like in full abaya with niqab and everything. Like, what the heck is going on here, right? So like, does it happen all at once? Is there a gradual process? Like, how do you engage in this process of reintroducing yourself to people that you already know, but thought that they already knew you? And now you're going to present them somebody else, a better version of you, not somebody else, but a better version of you. Awais, you're up first this time.
I think I'm not sure if this is the most correct, but uh, letting it's not. I don't think it's as much as letting people know anything because it really doesn't matter at the end of the day. Some people will support the change, some people won't. But being open enough to like sit down and explain and actually hear a person out because maybe you don't understand their background. They might have seen what you've been doing before, and they might have a incorrect understanding of Islam also. So if they come up to you and start asking you the question or start treating you a certain way, you can't automatically have like a reactionary stance, like, well, forget them, I'm just leaving them. But at the end of the day, I think it's a level of balance because if you yes you give people some leeway, but like we learned, you don't ever step out of the boat. Whatever you're doing and however you're going and progressing, you stay on that course. And if there's people who are okay with that or people who actually vibe with it to whatever degree that they do, then you can give them a little bit more of a mercy. But if you step off and just because other people don't like it or they have some sort of expectation that you should be doing what they want you to do, they're not your master.
This could be long, but for me, when I was on my Shahada high, when you first become a Muslim, I went all in. I put on the thobe, I topi, miswak, everything. I didn't really care how nobody felt. It was a complete culture shock for everybody I knew. Most of my family, they respected it because they knew if I was doing something, I was serious about it. But the thing is, the challenges that came along with it, they want to see how serious you are. So, hey, you want to drink, you want to smoke, you want to go out here, you want to do that. Why you need to pray so many times a day? Why you can't eat pork? They challenge you. For an example, when I first took my Shahada, my first wife at the time, I went home trying to make salah, and she would jump right in front of me while I was making salah, and then she would send the kids in after. They did this for, I don't know, maybe weeks. But when they saw that I was serious about it, then they started to ask questions, and that allowed me to have a conversation with them about Islam. So they started to back off a little bit, and then they would watch. And as the year went on, they had a respect for it so much that they used to turn the TV down when I make salah. They would make sure the area that I prayed in was pretty clean. They respected it, and no pork was bought in the house. Okay, none. They respected that 100%. And the same thing with people that I grew up with in the streets. Once they knew that I was serious about it, and our conversation was not the same, they respected it. And I know you said keeping ties with friends and family, but unfortunately, when you do something that's better than yourself, people are going to fall off. You cannot save everyone. You have to save yourself first, and you have to be an example of what that new difference looked like. And I stand firm to it till the day, just like these brothers.
So when I first became Muslim, I was in a state where I didn't actually have too many friends. I still had a few, some of my older friends that that are non-Muslim. I just told them they had questions. I answered the questions to the best of my ability. Most of the questions were just like, well, is there anything special you need to do? Is there anything dietary we need to do? And I let them know the no pork, and if there's meat, it has to be halal, and I can provide that if we're going to be doing something. No alcohol, no smoking, anything like that, no drugs. And they were pretty cool with it. That I'd have to take breaks away to pray, and things of that nature. I guess kind of similar to Manila, I guess the difficulty came with my family. So my family has always been a family that likes to sit down and eat together. But sometimes that would happen like right as my brother's coming in there. Something along those lines, or during if we were super busy and I needed to get a prayer in and I wasn't able to join the family for dinner, or it's like, oh no, I need to pray first before we go, or something. So that was always felt there was some tension there. But I guess reintroducing myself, there wasn't too much difference, to be honest. Besides, the obvious things that don't exist within, or like are haram within Islam, just making sure that they were aware of that. But I'm still me. I'm a better me. So I guess there wasn't too much to actually reintroduce myself. Kind of like Emmanuel, I just kind of went. I went in as quick as possible. There was an adjustment period, but I wasn't trying to like tread waters lightly or anything. I just like someone come up and be like, no, and then they'd ask why, and I'd try and explain to the best of my ability. So yeah.
Sure. Most of the time, this is something that a very interesting phenomena exists with converts. Converts initially will deal with family drama, and then a lot of it, like the pressure is released. It's rough in the beginning, and then it's released. Most of the time, a lot of times. To the extent that, like, for instance, in my own family, the same people that in the beginning would try to give my kids pizza with like sausage and pepperoni and everything, even though they know, they would do it on purpose, right? Those same people are the same people today that will ask about halal meat and be willing to go pick it up for me. Same people, right? Non-Muslim. And that is to our advantage, because I deal with Muslims from Muslim families. They don't have it that easy. So I've dealt with this a lot, right? So this is not like one or two, like I've dealt with this a lot. So like say for instance, son, daughter, or whatever, like comes home and is like, I'm only eating the halal. And now the Muslim family members are the ones that are saying, like, trying to stop them. We'll just say Bismillah, like da 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 da. And it has absolutely nothing to do with what is right and wrong. It's got everything to do with you making them feel bad about their Islam. You're trying to be a good Muslim. They're not. So your efforts are making them feel bad. So now they need to attack you, because when somebody is above you, you have two options. You can put in the effort to rise above them. Okay? That's musabiqun, right? So like this is how you become at the forefront. Musabaqa is what? Racing. Race. Vie with one another. Compete with one another. But that's not what happens. The second thing happens. And this is what we are used to in society. Pull the person down that's above you. I don't need to make effort to go up. I just need to pull that person down. Hence, we live the cancel culture and this and that and the other, right? So a lot of times, born Muslims in Muslim families have more of a difficult time over a longer period actually trying to practice Islam in a quote unquote Muslim home than some converts. You see? So there really is not that much of a difference. There shouldn't be. I'm going to ask you to do one thing. I want you to stop saying convert and revert. Except when somebody converts to Islam, like his brother just converted to Islam. That's appropriate. Otherwise, don't use the terms anymore. No more converts, no more reverts, just Muslims. The notion of born Muslim, most of you are already aware, is a bogus term in and of itself. Everybody is born Muslim. Do we really need to go into all of that? And then there's also, Awais mentioned this, that sense of security. Most Muslims don't realize that that is a false sense of security. Because when somebody comes up to converts and they make this statement, you're so much better than us. You chose to be Muslim. I was born Muslim. That is an indication that this individual who just spoke those words does not understand their religion at all. Why? Because we all must choose. That's the point of puberty. That's why all the tarbiyah, the tazkiyah, then everything, right? Before they hit puberty, why 7 years old, you're making them make salah. They don't have to. They're not adults. Why 7? Why 10? Spank them. Why? Because when they become 12, 13 years old, they have to make a decision. They have to make a conscious decision. One of the primary responsibilities of the parent is to educate that child sufficiently so that he or she can make that decision when they hit puberty. But you must decide. You cannot casually be Muslim. You cannot passively be Muslim. So in that effort, sometimes yes. Like they put it, I don't have anything to add. Like, some people are going to make it, some people won't. Some people will understand, some people won't. Some people will support you, some people won't. The ones that do, you know who they are to you. The ones that don't, you know who they are to. Another question? Yes.
I don't know if the right question that I have non-Muslim friend, very learned, very learned, and he would use some period, let's say, every time we are alone, he would ask questions, he would spike up the conversation, and I'm sure how well is not to help him, but when I would tell him about Quran, he'd say that's a circular argument. So you're giving proof that the truth is circular argument, and you're saying there's just one Allah because your mom says. How do you give me a proof that there is some reality in what you're saying, not because your mom?
Right.
So
I agree with them. You're not Muslim friend. Like, I agree with them. Like, I'm like, me too, guy. That was my issue when I became Muslim, right? And everybody's like, halal, haram, haram, halal, halal, haram. And they're arguing and fighting and do this, makes a lot like this. And they're arguing and like bickering with one another. I was just like looking at them like, this is insane. I don't like, where's the proof of what you're doing? Like, what's the evidence, right? And I'm like, now mind you, don't go to some extreme. Like this notion of like, brother, if I can't find it in the Quran or Hadith, then I am not going to follow it. You're not even educated enough to go into Quran and Hadith, much less talk about like, if you can't find it there, who the heck do you think you are? You think you've got like the underpinnings, the education, the foundation, understanding of principles and whatnot to be able to process the Quran and a Hadith like that to where you don't need a mentor or a guide to help you understand your deen? Good luck with that. The problem is the rest of us are going to suffer along with you, because now you're probably going to be guilty of distorting deen and misrepresentation of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So now, as people get this distorted understanding of what Islam is from these distorted individuals, now you and I have to deal with that. The answer to your question, though, kind sir, is this: become that guy. Become that person that can answer those questions, because you're here in America. Every last one of you. Learn your aqidah, because he's only asking questions about aqidah. Most of the time, they're not asking legal questions. They're not asking about fiqh masail and so on and so forth, right? So they're asking about aqidah. And usually what they're asking are issues of aqidah, which for us are qat'i. They're definitive. You got to believe this stuff in order to be Muslim. So actually, when these non-Muslims, when they approach us, what they're doing is exposing our ignorance. So that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah. It's rahmah. Allah says, look, I'm going to show you how ignorant you are. You don't know something. Now that you know you don't know it, now you know you need to go learn it. So do it. That's the answer. Become the guy that can answer that question. Because, like, mashallah, like, this is a rare situation, but like, you are definitely capable of being that guy. All of you are. If you want to be. The question is will you put the time and effort in? And the bigger question is it really important, like, to answer his questions? Or is the important issue here is the fact that you don't know the answer? Forget him. You don't know. Even if you learn it and never see the guy again, or never tell anybody, never teach anybody, never share it, I need it. Isn't it true? This falls under the category of talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli muslim. Aw kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam. Seeking sacred knowledge is an obligation on every Muslim. What amount of knowledge? Everybody doesn't have to become scholars. That amount of knowledge that you can represent Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your day-to-day life, right, properly. That's it. That's how much is required. In this case, this amount of knowledge will be required, because we do encounter these individuals, and most of them, especially because most of you are educated and professionals, right? So a lot of the people that you're going to encounter are also going to be educated professionals, which means that, like, that kind of grassroots, first grade explanation of Islam is not going to work with those people. They're thinkers. They're going to ask questions. They want the dots connected. And they have, like, honestly, I'm more concerned about the people who don't want that. They casually come into Islam, like, yeah, sure, I believe that. Yeah. Usually the people who ask these questions are the, mashallah, they're the ones that when they become Muslim, inshallah, may Allah Ta'ala grant them hidayah. When they become Muslim, they're like rockets, they excel. May Allah Ta'ala make him and us from amongst those people. MashaAllah. But for that education, please speak with me or the brothers afterwards, because that is one of the things that we do. I focus primarily on teaching Aqidah, especially to the youth and everything also, because Muslims need to know what Muslims believe so that we can represent it properly, inshallah. One last question.
Maybe avoiding against others. In terms of the channel, I mean, you look at all the different. A lot of prophets faced those rejections from their closest family, even children, wives. Ibrahim alayhi salam, his father, Nuh alayhi salam, his children at the time, 5 or 2, died. So we have these stories that rejections are out there. Even for prophets, they could not overcome those rejections. So in a way, we all, when we become Muslims, and even Muslims, in a term, we are still a messenger. Because all messengers are
Rasulullah.
done, but now we are disciples. So what we need to know, it's a journey, not only for others, for every Muslim. It's a journey. How you face your environment, you work on your spirituality, and no compromises. I'm not here, I'm not a scholar, but it's just my own thought. I could be wrong,
but no compromises when it comes to your aqidah.
ايوه
When it comes to belief,
صح.
you need to culture it's a journey. So education, and we look back to the seerah of Rasulullah, the very first surahs, and even like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him that plan, action plan, how to start delivering that message. And now he got the message, but he's going to go out there. وَأَنذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. The first thing first, you work on yourself. This first surah, Iqra, you need to learn, you need to capture, you need to recognize the power of knowledge. And the second thing is you work on yourself. يَا أَيُّهَا الْمُزَّمِّلُ قُمِ اللَّيْلَ. So now you work on spirituality. Because spirituality, قَوَّامُونَ الصَّوَّامُونَ, that kind of gives you stamina to face the challenges with the societal challenges. So if you go back to the seerah, you learn how to become that type of
MashaAllah.
Rasulullah.
And that is exact, like, no, you're not a scholar, but you're not wrong. Like, that's 100% accurate. To the best of my knowledge, as little as that may be, we function from the seerah. Like, as an organization, we function from the seerah. It's meaning, like, everything, you're going to look in this, it's all there, right? That's the point of it. It's all there. Everything that you're going to face or difficulties and this and that and the other, only thing you got to look at is the seerah of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, mind you, that is going to include the hayatu sahaba, right? The lives of the sahaba as well, because you can't talk about his life without their lives. They're intertwined forever. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. All right. But this spiritual aspect of things, because you hit a point, all of these like complications, problems, issues, drama, like I'm facing this problem, this challenge, right? Everybody tries to deal with the external with more actions. What action do I need to take? When actually it's not about the action that you need to take in the external world, it's about your internal response first and foremost. Meaning you're hit with a challenge, don't think about what you need to do. You need to think about how you're going to process this as a Muslim. Once you process it, that processing will lead you to the action that is necessary in Islam to remedy that situation, inshallah. This is where mashayikh and ulama and so on, this is where they come in, is that they're like the physicians. They're like the mechanics, if you will. They're the ones who understand the system and now can understand the sicknesses or problems, challenges within the system, and provide you with remedies, treatments, etc., so that way you can now navigate through this challenge and come out stronger, a better version of you. 100% accurate. If you're talking about action without talking about your heart first, no, you're bogus. And that goes for all the community service efforts and all this effort and that effort. And if you are not there, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Save yourself first. Are you safe? Nobody's safe. So at what point in time are you free to just like, I'm good, I need to focus on the community? There isn't a time, because you're never safe. That's the reason why the understanding of community service in Islam is based on altruism. It is based on selflessness. It is based on me going out into the community to perform these actions of charity, of kindness, not because they need it, but because I do. Now, if you are in line with this and you want to get involved, then inshallah, please let us know. We're about to wrap everything up and we will do an intake. The whole point of the intake is to find out about you, your background, your experience, skill sets, education. What do you want to do? We have brothers that, mashallah, for instance, they're working with us and they're trying to also get out of like the whole 9-to-5 thing, right? They have like, I got experience, I got an education, I have the know-how, I can start my own business. I just need some support. You're right. You can start your own business and you just need support. That's what we're here for. And then what you do is that once yours is started, you're going to turn right back around and there's going to be another brother just like you or sister. And they're like, I want out of this rat race. I want to be able to have the barakah from like doing my own business. I want to be off on Eid. I want to be off on Jumu'ah. I want to work on Sunday if I want to. Like, mashallah. Guess what? Now you help them too. Our Islam, we do not believe in secularism. But the Muslim community, especially here in America, is very much secular minded. And these people suffer because of it. Converts and the youth. Stop thinking secularly. Be a Muslim who engages in business, who engages in the community, who engages themselves spiritually, right? Be a Muslim, meaning like that's in every sphere, aspect of society. Be a Muslim. Strive for excellence in all of it. And that's what we're trying to do. But doing it together with very strict boundaries. If that is interesting to you, if you would like to find out more, if you would like to get involved, I will tell you first, we take this very seriously. It's not volunteering. I tell people, right, like, I don't have any volunteers. Like, we have volunteers that will show up at events and whatnot, but like, we have workers. If you are coming here and you do not think of this as a job, not even your second job, your first job, because this is the one Allah created you for. So don't dare call the reason why Allah created you your second job. It's your first one. If you're not willing to treat this like your first job, I'm going to tell you right now, participate with the services, the educational parts, but this is not going to be for you. You'll find a hard time. You'll find a hard time with me. But if you're willing to be serious, dedicated, committed, you want to bring your professional experience to the table and actually use it for the khidmah of deen. If you are interested in starting your own thing, but you want to you want to start your own business, but you want to do it based on taqwa. Not based on money, but based on taqwa. Then we're here to support you. And as this group, and it's growing, as this group grows, our potential and the things that we're able to accomplish also grows as it increases. And I am humbled by the type of people that we have involved with us right now. I am truly humbled. I am their servant. Because I feel like the caliber of people that Allah Ta'ala has brought collectively together, like they're way above me. They're way above me. So I have this honor and privilege of being able to serve them and help them in terms of like the understanding of certain aspects of deen. If this is for you, or you know somebody who actually like, you know what, not me right now, maybe in the future, but I have a cousin, uncle, brother, sister, best friend, neighbor, etc., co-worker, like this sounds like him or her. And we do a lot. So like we have a whole media department, marketing, operations, communications. We have software that we're using as well. So we are running this like a corporation. So you will have to deal with some of that same stuff like from the corporate world, like, you know, with Jira and Slack and Confluence and all of this stuff. And like, you still have to deal with all of that too. But if we're going to get something accomplished and we're going to actually build an infrastructure that's going to last past us, an infrastructure that our children can actually build upon, right? Get the benefit from. We can an infrastructure that we can actually use to address large scale problems. Because we're suffering right now collectively, because we're selfishly only concerned about our own lives. My job, my family, my kids' college fund, my situation, my finances, my vacation, what I want to do with my time, I, me, my, myself, mine. It's all it is. We're plagued by it. And then have the audacity, and I catch a lot of slack for this, but I won't stop saying it. And then have the audacity to say we're worried about our kids. I'm sorry. No, I can't believe it. If you want me to lie to you and tell you I believe it, fine. Okay, I believe it. But I can't believe it. If you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is, if you're not willing to make effort and sacrifice in terms of building an infrastructure in a Muslim community that at least somewhat resembles that of Medina, I can't take you seriously. You're saying it to make yourself feel better. You're saying it because you need to feel like you're a good parent and that you're genuinely concerned about your kids. But don't, if you need to tell that to yourself, leave me out of it. Because I don't believe it. Because there's no evidence for it. So save the claims for people who entertain false claims or claims that don't have any proof or evidence to go along with it. But for the people who are genuinely like, I am worried about my kids, and that's going to me, I'm like, I had a brother. Yes, I'm trying not to tear up right now. This brother, because this is the effort, we're not supported, we're supported internally. At one point, this brother said, Sheikh, with the kids and this and that and the other, and to get this thing going, do you know what he was willing to do? He's got a full-time job. Guy works like on average somewhere between 50, 60 hours a week already. Okay? Like he busts his behind. His job is kind of physical too. He's like, on the weekends, I'm going to Uber. And all the money, I'm going to Uber for a year, and all the money from Ubering, I will put towards the salary for a teacher. That's the type of brothers we have with us. That's the type of people we need. He cares about his kids. He cares about his kids. Why? Look at that. Look at what he's willing to do. And not for what? For their college education. Brother, do you not see what's going on? I got all these parents running around with these little kids, assuming that this world is going to be, and this country is going to be like this long enough for their kids to get to college. I'm like, are you not seeing what's going on around you right now? You're assuming that this, how it is right now, is going to be available to them 10, 15 years from now. It very well may not be. In so many aspects, we're on the verge, potentially, of societal collapse. Very intelligent people in think tanks are actually focusing on these problems, generating solutions, wondering how we can avoid this. And yet the Muslim community, who should be like, of course, because you're on kufr and shirk and the Yawm al-Qiyamah is coming, you think this is going to last? It's not going to last. No, they're like, of course this is going to last. This is the great America. Milk and honey, streets and gold and all of that stuff. Of course everything is going to stay the same, because that's what happened with all the other peoples that came before us. But that isn't what happened with all the people that came before us, is it? What happened to all the empires? Where are they now? What does Allah say about them? What did he do to them? And as all this sin is increasing here, and even in the Muslim community, the sin is increasing here, and Muslims still believe in their heads and their hearts that everything is going to be like rainbows and butterflies for whatever, 10, 15, 20 years for your child. What are you doing to make that world a better place? What are you doing to provide them stability, consistency, the environment and atmosphere of Islam? Save their job, but not their akhirah. Make sure he becomes a doctor, even if it's in the hellfire. Criticize him or her. Oh, you can work hard at being a Muslim, you can't work hard at becoming a doctor? You never put this much effort into your education? The parent said that one. Yeah. And I'm sitting, you can't say anything. But you think about, like, because I don't know what you thought, but I thought something. I'm like, subhanAllah, like your child, like I got all these parents, like we can't get our kids in the masjid. I don't know how to get, right? Subhanallah. And now, like, this is a parent whose kid is actually striving for deen, and their complaint is what? You don't strive for your education like you do for Allah. Change. Not temporary change, not band-aid change. Inshallah, permanent, consistent change. And where will it happen? It will happen on the backs of hard, real Muslim men and families. So we're going to collect them. Inshallah. Allah sends them. I tried to recruit, by the way, like Allah said, no, it's not happening. I'm telling you right now. We just sit and wait for Allah to send the people. Literally, I say, you know what? We need a person who has this profession. Within 24 to 48 hours, that person shows up. This has happened 6 times consecutively. I make a statement. I need a person who does this. Within 24 to 48 hours, this person, Awais has been there when it's happened. Ryan has been there when it's happened. Like, these brothers have experienced. I'm not telling you, like, these people are here. They were there. They experienced it. This deen belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's going to do whatever he wants, and he's going to accept whoever he wants. He's going to use whoever he wants. You and I just need to hope and pray that we're included amongst that number. Ya Allahumma ja'alna minhum ya arhamar rahimin. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on us and to forgive us. We have taken up your time. These brothers, I want to, like, for me, I'm moving further and further away from this talking thing, right? And the proof that I don't need to talk was here this evening. MashaAllah, and even in the audience as well. I want to move back and actually connect you. And so we've got a November and a December, okay? This is what we'll be doing. Like, for those who are joining us, like, we work all week long. This is not like we're not weekend warriors. We work all week long, all month long, all year long, okay? But when we're here, we've got a November and a December program coming. I would like to, like, get rid of all the formalities and everything. And I would like for us to just sit down together, all right? Because, like, mashallah, like, we like, I want these injections. I don't believe that the Muslim community doesn't have anything to offer. I think each and every one of you have something to offer. We've seen it. Everybody that Allah Ta'ala sends brings something amazing to the table. And now I see, like, each and every one of you, you have something amazing. That's not an if or maybe. I'm telling you, you're Muslim. That means it's there. You have something amazing inside of you. Believe it. Allah put it there. Same way you believe in Allah, believe he put that thing in you. You're special. That's why he made you Muslim. Get the potential. Squeeze that potential. Squeeze that specialness. Get the most out of it. You will benefit. Your families will benefit. Your kids will benefit. All the kids, by the way. Muslims will benefit. Non-Muslims will benefit. We will have infrastructure. Our kids will have, instead of false security, at least we will have something substantial, tangible to hand off to them for them to continue the building process. But if we keep doing things the way we're doing things now, it's a wrap. The Muslim community cannot survive in the United States the way it is currently functioning. Within a very short period of time, the assimilation that is currently taking place will speed up process, and the distortion of Islam will continue to increase. The devaluing of ulama will continue to increase until, like, there's zero respect. There's like maybe 1 or 2% of respect remaining, but, like, that'll be gone. And then now you will have nowhere to turn. And then you will understand the reality of the hadith where Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before Yawm al-Qiyamah, that he will lift the knowledge and it will be gone. So the Sahaba asked the obvious question, what? I said, no. That's not how it happens. It's real simple. The chains end. No more students. People are too preoccupied, too distracted, too selfish. Nobody had time to properly learn anymore. Then you had those that, like, they don't care about the scholars. They think knowledge is something on YouTube. They think knowledge is intensive. They think knowledge is only in the 4 walls of a classroom. If you really think this, I'll introduce you to Imam Ghazali because he's going to bring that whole like fantasy, like that nightmare come crashing down. Decide who you want to be. But in here, know something. You're here because you're Muslim. You're here because you're special. Allah brought you here for a reason. We're here for a reason, to do the work of the khidmah of the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you want to work with us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and accept all of us. If you are not ready right now, but you want to take benefit from some of the classes or just with the brothers, because we get together just to eat. Just come spend time with the brothers. You don't even have to do anything. Nobody's going to criticize you. Nobody's going to be like, brother, like you just show up for food every time. Anytime we got food, you just show up. Brother, like if that is you, brother, we're going to hug you. But if you don't show up for the food, we're going to call you. Brother, we got food. Where you at? You're usually here if we have food. We miss you. The food misses you. Okay? This is not about like, come as you are, but come selflessly. That's all we ask. Humility, learning, change. If you're ready for all three of those, come humble, be ready to learn, be ready to change. You're one of us, meaning the people of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah accept us. Love you, brothers, your families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala jazakumullah khairan jaza. This was not easy for these brothers, being up front and in public and everything, but they've got to start getting used to it, mashallah. As you see, they do a wonderful job. Inshallah, they're going to be doing much more of it in the future. Inshallah. Oh, we're going to go, we got to, now, like, because I do other states and everything also, right? So now, mashallah, as the brothers travel me to different states and everything, like, it's not just me. Aman Allah, take it away. Ryan, he's going to handle this part, inshallah. Inshallah. May Allah accept us. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khairan jaza, wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك نستغيث.